Welcome back to the channel. My name's Adam Smith, and today we dive into the finale for Unstoppable from Renegade Game Studios. We're going to pick things up exactly where we left it off in part number 1. So if you haven't checked that out, or the solo setup, or the unboxing, I'll have the entire showcase in the top right-hand corner right now for you to check out if you're just catching up. Now, I threw the card drafting choice back to my Discord community in a poll, as well as on YouTube in the post section. There was voting in both locations, and overall it was a very tight race. The 3 cards I could have drafted was the Court Physician, Overseer Caligari, and 10 Meters Under. 10 Meters Under didn't get many votes, but Overseer Caligari and Court Physician definitely did. They were very close, with the Overseer taking it by just a couple votes. I gathered a threat for that drafted card. It was one of the blue cards up here from the threat deck. It's now in my hand. We're going to go ahead and reset the small level disc. With the disc reset, I'm heading into my main phase. As Kai Silver heads into his main phase, I want to show you his current health situation, which is not so good. He's got 2 health remaining, so this could be the shortest finale you guys have ever witnessed if I get destroyed in this particular round, but I'll be doing everything possible to try and survive. I also have 4 credits to my name, and the Overseer card that was drafted by the community, which is a pretty solid one. I actually like it quite a bit. This is going to provide me the ability to get the ally out exhausted in order to gain 4 credits. I have some bargaining effects I get with that as well, and I can deal some damage, all that good stuff, but the credits is the major thing with this for just 1 action point. So a useful card for sure. On top of the 4 I already have, it'll give me 8, which is a lot of buying power. It may not help me on the health department side, but it might keep me alive long enough to see another day. So let's see how we can pull this off. Now, the synergy that the community was likely looking at was the synergy between the Grand Emporium and the Caligari, because the 2 of these things combined, especially with the bargaining effect, can be quite useful. Let's go ahead and buy this Badge of Valor. This is going to cost me just 2 because I'm going to pair it with a Viren card. So for 2 credits, I've attached it to Master Your Will. And that upgrade's being replaced by Ascendant Ritual, a cool upgrade tactic card. Costs 2 less if attached to a silver card. Has some good benefits. The first card I'm going to play is going to be my Overseer. This is an ally that's going to come in at 1 action point. So we'll go ahead and lose that token. And that's going to allow us to go ahead now, if we want, we can go ahead and exhaust this, which I will, to gain 4 credits. So we'll go ahead and jump ourselves up from 2 to 6. Not bad at all. So we got ourselves some credits to spend. Now, the next thing this thing's going to let us do is, until the end of this turn, all bargaining effects that we resolve are going to gain a dealing of 3 damage. So this is where we can start looking at the Grand Emporium. Now, I think what I'm going to do here is actually pick up the hollow plated card right here for just 2, because it's pretty cheap and allows me to get some defense into my hand for the future, which I certainly need with my health being as low as it is. Don't necessarily need it this round, but it'll be good bump up for later on. We're going to place this with the Grand Emporium, so we're going to go ahead and slide this in, give that upgrade there, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to spend 1 action point right now to do this. The upgrade row's been replenished, so I got Back Alley Deal up here. That's also a really cool one that I can actually pair with a Junker card in the future to get a discount. So that actually is very, very enticing. Both these 2 in the middle here I really like. The credits one's kind of cool, but you got to pay 3 in order to get 2, and I'm a little bit dicey on that one. But I went ahead and also spent my action point as well for the card, the Grand Emporium I just played. I'm going to gain 7 credits right now, so I'll go ahead and take those 7. Now, as we go into bargaining 7, which I'm going to do, we get a discount for every single one of these Junker cards that we have, and we currently have 2. So it means it's only going to be 5 that we have to pay, which is nice. So we'll go ahead right now from the credits that we have and pay 5. So that's going to be leaving us with 6. So I've gone ahead and removed those credits. So we paid a full 5 and we got 6 left. And that's going to allow us to go ahead and do some attacks. Now we get the 3 off this one, the 3 off this one, and also the 3 off the Overseer as well. The danger level right now is 2, which means that this one is 3 health, this one's 3 health, this one is 3 health, this one is 5 health. The on-deck threat is 4 health. We'll take out the top right-hand card first, and that's going to be Cultivate Power when it's flipped over. It also provides us with a credit, as it mentioned on the back of the card. The next hit of 3 is going to reward us with a Strike card. And the next damage at 3 will take out the bottom left card, giving us another Strike card. So not bad at all. We're now going to go ahead and play Master Your Will, which normally costs 2, but it will be costing 2 less thanks to the upgrade that I put on earlier in the turn. So we don't have to pay any action points whatsoever to play this one right now. And that is going to allow me to do a 5 damage hit, which I'm going to place on this one, which needs 5 to be taken out. So this one is torched, and we're going to go ahead and flip this one over to the other side. And this is going to allow us to place a damage on the boss. So that extra damage on the boss now brings it to a total of 5 damage out of 12 we need to take it down. And this card we just took down has a when defeated effect of damage 4 on it, which means this is going to go over here for now as it's a discarded card because it's a boss related one for this scenario. But that 4 damage, I'm going to go ahead and toss it on the on deck threat, which is going to wipe it out. And so the fun just keeps on going. So at this point, the Order Acolyte has been taken out. We're going to flip this one over. It's also a boss threat, so it's also going to throw a damage on the boss. That's going to bring the boss's damage up to a total of 6 out of 12. We're halfway there. Also, there is a when defeated condition on this card as well, and this one is for 3 damage, and I am definitely throwing it on the on-deck threat. Not bad at all. That's going to stomp all the when defeated triggers that constantly happened after I used Master Your Will, but there's a portion of this card now. We're going to go ahead and trigger. It says, place up to 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck and then draw that many cards. I put the 2 strike cards at the bottom of the deck, and the cards I drew were spare credits and 3 meters under. Yes, one of the cards had damage on it, which gets thrown away when you go ahead and draw it up, but still, you're taking cards out of your deck. That's a good thing, and we're working towards another boss threat hopefully coming through the deck. And it's a good thing we did this because we have a really nasty cultist that just showed up. We'll talk about it in just a second. The last thing I want to do is not to forget the armor bump that I get from Master Your Will. So we're going to bump ourselves up to 4 armor. This card is done at this point, so we'll go ahead and place it over here. These 2 have both been fully resolved. Now we've got some new cards in hand here. Some of them don't cost anything. We have 1 action point remaining, and we have a really nasty cultist. Let's find out what Crazed 5 is all about for those that don't know. The card has 2 threat keywords. The first one's Taunt, which we know about, which means we just have to focus on it, which is A-okay, because it's the only one that we can focus on right now anyway. The other one is Crazed. Now, when Crazed is revealed, if your current health value is equal to or lower than the Crazed value, the Crazed threat deals 2 damage to itself. You're not going to see me complaining about that. Now, in terms of what this thing can do to me, and it won't be doing anything this round because it's the on-deck threat. Remember, the on-deck threats don't attack you, but this thing will eventually go to the battlefield if we don't deal with it. So we do want to try and take it out. In order to get this thing taken out, it's going to be 2 for this value here for its attack based on the danger value, and then 3 for defense. So a total of 5 health necessary, or 5 hits to take it down. It's already got 2, so we just need 3 more. Let's go ahead and play spare credits. This will just give me a single credit, as well as bumping up my action points by 2, which isn't bad. So we're back to 3. Next up, I'll use the card 3 meters under. This is going to be 2 action points to use, and that's going to give me a 2 and a single hit, which is exactly enough to get the 5 we need on this cultist. Now, as we take this thing out, it's going to give me the ability to gain another credit, so we'll go ahead and add that to our pile of credits we got here. So we got a decent amount. We got 9. And then when we defeat it, it also will allow us to do 2 damage to something else. So this is going to come into hand at this point. Flipping it over, we gained Practice Makes Perfect. This is a good card to have, and we'll place the 2 damage on the Sporling. Now at this point, I'm going to upgrade one of my silver cards, Cultivate Power. This one has a really cool ability to bump up the small level disc, and why not take this Ascendant Ritual card? It's going to cost 4, but it's reduced by 2 if I'm attaching it to a silver card, so it'll only cost me 2 in the end, which is a great discount to add that to this card. The new upgrade card that's going to populate in the area we just took is going to be this right here, a Transport. This is going to be 2 less when on Environ cards. We'll go ahead and place that over here. Now, what's also what I just did is I can use Cultivate Power now at this point. I can go ahead and spend an action point. It's going to allow me to do a lot with the level disc. Action disc has been spent. We'll go ahead and move the level disc 1 position. We'll be able to conspire because I have another card in here that matches, so we can do it a second time and then a third time for the upgrade that I put on here. That's going to put us at the highest level deck 6. So our ability to draft is going to become very, very useful in the upcoming round. Let's go ahead and finish resolving the Cultivate Power card. You'll see on it near the bottom, there is another ability here at level 2. It says I can lose a health and deal 3 damage. Pretty cool, but I don't want to lose a health because I only have 2 left, and I certainly can't make to the level 4. I'm currently at a level 3 with my character, so we won't be doing that. I'm choosing not to, but I am going to go ahead and trigger the 2 damage I get off the upgrade card from this one, and that 2 damage is enough on top of the 2 that's already here to take this thing out. Its total health is 4. The card on the opposite side is Price of Business. So this will be going into my hand. So I've got 2 cards in my hand, Price of Business and Practice Makes Perfect. I have no more action points left to spend. And as of right now, Boss Threat sits on the very top. And I think this is where we're going to calm down. That ended up being a very successful round. So at this point now, we're going to head into the threat phase, which is going to mean much because the battlefield has been completely wiped out. We now head into the cleanup phase. All right, so I discarded all my played tactics, which was an absolute ton. They're all in the discard pile right now. We lose our unspent action points. We didn't have any. We used everything and then some. We reset our armor to 0. I did do that. We refilled the battlefield. We got 1 individual fast, so that doesn't count towards the limit of 3 inside of the battlefield. So we had to pull an additional card, which is why we have 4. And now we're going to advance the danger by 1. Danger level's going up, and it's only going to 2 yet again, so we have no change in terms of the value, but we do have the ability now to recycle the upgrades, which is good for us because we have some credits to spend. The upgrades I'm choosing to recycle are going to be the Las Pistol, Medal of Loyalty, Legitimate Pay, and Flow Skin Armor. These are the 4 that I really don't think I'm going to make much use of based on my strategy, but I do like the ones in the middle. They are cheaper if you can get them tied to the right cards, and they do provide some cool benefits. On this side, we get the Badge of Valor and Repeating. And over here, we have the Junker Sandtrap and the Empowered. New round to play, upkeep phase. We're getting our 3 action points left. Our ally is going to refresh, and we're going to resolve any upkeep effects we don't currently have any. With that all squared away, let's go ahead and do a draft. And you know this time we're drafting from the level 6 deck. As you can clearly see from level 6 cards, these ones are not messing around. The damage is really starting to creep up, and the powers on these cards are getting insane. So Elite Peacekeepers over here, for 3 action points, you get 4 separate attacks of 3 damage apiece. That's very nice. Total of 12 damage there, but you have to hit things at 3 damage at a time. This one over here is interesting because based on the number of action points you spend, that's how many targets you can break up the damage across, and you have a total of 13 to deal across those targets. If you just pay 1 action point, you can hit 1 individual for 13 damage. If you pay 2, you can split that 13 into, say, 6 and 7, or whatever you want to break it out into in order to make it happen. So it's pretty cool. That one's very useful for basically getting what you want when you want. I think that actually might be a card that I should probably have in my deck for a situation where some of the really powerful ones come out and I need to just hopefully slaughter a bunch of them. Now on the far right here, this one's 2 action points, and this one says when this card enters or leaves play, gain 4 credits. It's an ally, so of course you have to exhaust it if you want to get the bottom portion, which says until the end of this turn, all upgrades on tactics you play gain this effect. When played, you're going to deal a single damage. It's a very tough decision, but for future planning of the danger track getting up into very high levels with the damage, which we're going to start seeing escalating a lot faster, I'm going to go ahead and go after the one that is a little more versatile in terms of how much damage I can put on whatever number of threats I choose based on the action points I spend. So we're going to go for that middle one. All right, so I'm happy with the draft. We got our threat card slid in the back. This small level disc has been reset back. We are ready to go into our main phase. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 credit and upgrade 13 meters under with just a very simple upgrade, and empowered for just 2. So we'll go ahead and slot that onto the card, and we're going to use this card right away. We're going to use all 3 action points to play this card. So that is going to allow me to take the 13 damage, and I can divide that effect up among the targets based on how much I paid, which is going to be 3. So I'm going to divide this up, plus I'll have a hit of 2 afterwards. We'll deal with the hit of 2 later on. So first up, we'll go ahead and divide the hits up enough that I can hit this boss threat right here, which is a total of 5 health currently. So we're going to hit that with 5 of the 13. When we do this, we get a when defeated effect of 4 additional damage to throw on somebody else. But first, 1 damage to the boss. That's super satisfying. We got ourselves up to 7 damage. We just need 5 more to take this boss down. So at this point, we've used 5 of the 13, so we still have 8 left. We can divide up against 2 targets. Now, who has the most? Well, in this case, it's going to just come down to these individuals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and probably hit this one next here. This one's going to be for 3. Now, when I hit this one for 3 to take it out, it's going to also have a when defeated, which means we can move our small level disc up 1 position. Also, it provides us back 1 action point. And we get the awesome card, Exceed Your Limits, into our hand. Now, in all the excitement, I jumped right over the fact that I got a 4 damage from the very first individual I took out. Remember, the first one to go was this one here up in the top right-hand corner, and it had a when defeated on it for 4, and then I kind of forgot about that and then used a second hit for my 13 meters under for this individual. So let's go back a step and say that the 4 damage is actually taking out this individual here. So I still have 2 more individuals I can hit with the rest of the damage that I have from 13 meters under. So 13 minus 5 means I have 8 left to distribute across 2 targets. I'm going to put 4 on this one and 4 on this one, and we'll wipe both of them out. I'm glad I caught that because my original intent was to use this one card at its maximum action capacity in order to take out everything in play in the battlefield, plus be able to do now a 2 damage attack from the upgrade to hit the on-deck threat. And when I defeated the on-deck threat, it gave me an extra credit, which I placed here. Flipping it over, it got the Guard Squadron. So this card will be going into my hand here. And now we have another boss threat on top. Now at this point, I have not tapped my ally yet to get my credits. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and use the ally to gain myself 4 credits. I have 1 more action point left to spend. Let's take a look at our hand of cards here and find out what we can use to take out this boss threat. I think this is the final card I'll play with my action point unless I somehow magically gain some more, but this will allow me to move my small level disc by 2 positions, getting it back up to the level 6 deck because it's currently at the level 4, so that's awesome. On top of it, because I have 5 or less health, I'm going to be able to deal 2 damage plus 2 plus 1, which is 5, which is exactly enough to take down this boss threat. Absolutely perfect. We'll go ahead and pay the action point, and we've gone ahead and dealt all the damage necessary to take this one out. It has a when defeated effect on it for 4, which means we can take this 4 damage and translate it to the next card down below it. Flipping this one over, this is doing another damage to the boss, which brings it up to a total of 8 damage on the boss. We are getting closer every moment. 4 damage landing on this thing, and as you can see, that's going to take it out, as it only has 3 health. And to make it even more fun, it also has a when defeated, which gives me back an action point. So that's pretty awesome, and this is the card I'm getting in hand. Let's go ahead and get this Guard Squadron into play. We're going to go ahead and tap it. It will cost an action point, the last one I have. We lose a health, and I'm going to deal damage, which is going to be way more than enough based on the fact that I only have 2 health currently, and my max is 10, so we're dealing a ton of damage to the top on-deck threat, and then I get to heal 2. So even though I lose 1 health, I go up by 1, which means my health goes to 3. So we're going to gain another strike card right now. Let's go ahead and put that into our hand. We only have 1 card left. Let's go ahead and finish it off, but we'll be strategic about this. We're going to play a card that doesn't cost any action points, and it says here to gain the top card of the level 1 or 2 deck into your hand, so we'll do that first before we place any damage on this enemy, and we certainly will be able to place quite a bit because my small level disc has moved quite a bit. So because it's moved 3 positions, I'm getting 3 separate attacks of 2, plus the 2 that's on here. That's 8 damage, but we'll do all the damage at the very end so we can get that level 1 or level 2 card into the deck. On top of the level 1 and level 2 decks, we have allies to choose from. So we have this one here, which costs 1. We tap it, we gain ourselves some armor, we can conspire. This one over here, the ambassador, costs 3. That's a bit too expensive for my liking, so I'm going to stick with this one. And at this point, we'll dole out all the damage necessary to take out the on-deck threat, and that is going to clean off the deck. So that's going to do it. This card has been fully resolved. This one goes into my hand, and as it states right here, if your deck is empty, when there are no active threats, we get to level up. Both level discs are going to go up the track by 1 position, but this one's already at its max, so it'll stay where it's at. But this one here, representing our level for our character, is going to go up to level 4. All tactics cards are discarded, and allies from play down to 3 cards in hand. We have a lot of cards in hand, so I have to select just 3 of them, and honestly, there's 3 that are not strike cards, so I'll just hold on to those 3. Now it's time to check any boss-specific effects, and we do have one. We add a boss card for this boss into our discard pile, so I'm going ahead and doing that right now. If you don't have any more cards in the boss deck to add to your discard pile at this point, you just don't do it. Now next up, it says to reshuffle the cards in your discard pile and place right here, threat side up. And just like that, we go into the threat phase. There is no threats because we wiped out the battlefield. We now go into the cleanup phase. I've gone ahead and refilled the battlefield. We got ourselves one of the Order Acolytes here, a couple thieves, and a new comm hacker looks like it's come through. Now let's go ahead and move the danger marker. So we've got 8 damage on this boss. We need 12 to take it down, and as of right now, the danger marker is moving into the first 3 positions, so things are going to get a little bit tougher. But I'm hoping that based on how I built my deck so far, we've got ourselves a chance to make this happen. Even though we're low on health, I think we can pull through. We'll see what we can pull off. So now into the upkeep phase, we get our 3 action points back, refresh any allies. We don't currently have any at the moment. And no upkeep effects. We go right into the draft phase, and we are drafting from level 6. Level 6 cards are always fun to draft from. This one here costs a lot. Allows you to do some cool recycling, though. For 5 damage up front, then it says while the card's in play, you can place non-boss threats if you want to on the bottom of your deck when defeated. Each time you do, you get to draw some cards. This one here costs nothing and actually provides some health and allows you to defeat a threat. So that actually could be exactly what I'm looking for, to be honest. Relentless Charge here. This one is 1 AP and will be a 3 damage hit and allows you to conspire. You return this card to your hand if you discard another card from play. Also, just notice I forgot to replenish an upgrade card after taking it earlier, so I've done that. To be honest, this medical one is just too good not to take. I am super tempted by this, but the ability to just flat out defeat one threat no matter what it is, and also get a heal is just too good. Now going into my main phase, I've been eyeing this card here, the Junker Sand Trap. Pretty cool card, very costly, but -2 if you attach it to a Junker card, which I have in my hand right now, and I do have the availability to place it, and it's perfect fit for this price of business card. So we're going to get this one, this upgrade, for 4 credits. The next armor card to come in is this one here with armor and a small level token bump. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this upgrade at a discount of 2. I'm going to be putting it on a council card. This is only cost me 3. I've got 4 credits remaining, and this is the card that I attached it to. Next card off the deck is a very expensive one, but a very cool one. You can repeat this card's original effect. I'm going to go ahead and play this card here, giving me 2 life back, and I can defeat 1 threat. So we're going to go ahead and choose to defeat the boss threat right here, which is perfect. First, we'll jump up our health by 2, which is awesome. And then we're going to be able to do some damage, dole 3 after that. But first, when we take out this boss threat, we know we get a when defeated for 3 as well. First, I'll flip this over, knowing full well that this is going to do 1 damage to the main boss, which is awesome. So we'll take that off to the side, throw another damage on, and now we've got a total of 9, which is awesome. Now I have 3 from that card to dole out and 3 more from this card to dole out. So I'm going to dole out 3 to this one and 3 to this one, only taking care of the icon on the far right as it's worth now 3. We need 4 to take these things down, but that's going to at least resolve this card fully. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 credits to place this capacitor, this one here. This allows me to put 2 damage on top of one of my cards, which I'll add it to the strategy card that I have here at the very bottom. And I've got 4 credits, so we'll go ahead and take 2 away, leaving me with 2 left over. I'll now go ahead and throw this card into the pile. We're going to pay 1 action point for this one. I'll have a 2 damage hit, 2 damage hit, and then the focus will only be 1 because this is the only card of this faction in play or in hand. The 1 focus hit's going to go here, taking that one out. The next hit of 2 is going to go here, but I only put 1 token instead of 2 because it doesn't need any more than 4 to take it out. And then another attack 2 on this one right here. So the good news is the battlefield has been cleansed. We still need 3 more damage, and we want to keep working our way through the on-deck threat. And we're going to make that happen with this card right here. Price of business costs 1 AP to do it, but we get 1 AP back, so it's going to be a wash. 4 damage will throw in the on-deck threat, which will wipe it out completely. We're going to go ahead and gain 2 credits plus another 2 credits, and then we have 7 or less, we gain another credit, so we're gaining 5 in total. So 2 damage on this card with 4 on top of it is 6, well beyond what we need in order to take it out. I've already gone ahead, I haven't touched the AP because we got it right back, we got our credits, and we're going to go ahead and gain a bump up on our small level token. And we gain the card that you guys chose to draft earlier in the video. And the on-deck threat at this point is the Order Archivist. I'm going to push to try and do damage on this thing. It's going to be tougher now. This thing is a health of 6. And just something I forgot to replenish the upgrade in the top right-hand corner. Now looking at my hand of cards as well as the upgrade row, there's not a combination I can put together with the 3 AP that I have that will muster up 6 damage to take the on-deck threat. But what I could do is, of course, use the AP to completion, because I don't want to just leave it there because it gets tossed anyway at the end of the turn. But I want to use it to put as much damage as I can potentially on this thing while also keeping some useful cards. So we'll go ahead and just do some basic strikes against this. Let's also pick up 1 more upgrade here for this Overseer because I think it's a good idea. It's going to be 3 minus 2 because it's going on a Junker card, which is the card you guys chose for me to pick up. It only cost me 1 credit, so let's do it. This will give myself a nice little boost to this one. It also gives some credits and a bump on the small level disc, so why not? Next card coming into the upgrade row is an armor-based card. Into the threat phase we go. We have nobody in the battlefield because we took them all out. Cleanup phase. Battlefield is ready to go. We got ourselves 2 boss threat cards in here, but as of right now, we have a taunt individual in the top right-hand corner, so we have to focus on that one first. We got a fast condition in there for a threat, and that again tells us we can't just have 3 in here, which is why we have a total of 4. And the on-deck threat is a basic thief. Now we're trending in the right direction, but I do need to remind you of something. When playing on normal difficulty, we are skipping over the green spaces. So as we traverse down to this next space, we are now in the bottom row. We only have a few more turns to go, maybe a little more than a few, before we have to hop over and we instantly lose. So we really need to get some work done in the next few rounds. And as we move into this round right here, we can recycle things from the upgrade row if we want to, and I certainly do want to. Now at this point, as we do some swapping of upgrades, I have to say the community chose wisely as my deck has been churning along here. We've been doing pretty good so far, so hopefully we can keep going to that victory. Let's pick some cards wisely to remove as upgrades. All right, so the new entries to the upgrade row, we got the Arc Capacitor here. We have the Extra Heal, a cool card to allow me to heal, which is nice. And then we got the Badge of Valor. New round, upkeep phase. We got our 3 action points. We had no allies to refresh. And at this point, we need to go into the draft phase. So we're going to go ahead and draft from level 5, as you can see up there. All right, so we got a level 5 Banish, Salvage, Council, Peacekeepers. So this is kind of a smaller version of the level 6 one we saw earlier in the video. It only does 2 damage, but 4 separate times. Salvage here gives us an action point. I like that. Plus 4 damage hit. That's nice. Bargain 3. The next upgrade you buy this turn costs 3 less. That's also really good. So Salvage is nice. This one here, Banish, discard 1 active threat. That's good too. Conspire, discard 1 active threat. Wow. That's actually really good too. Banish is good because I actually have another one of those council cards in my hand right now. So Banish actually might be better than Salvage. Yeah, I couldn't ignore it. I had to take it. It ties in too well with what I have in hand. It's perfect for the Conspire ability and the ability to just get rid of 2 threats without having to worry about mustering up a whole bunch of damage. That should come in very handy. I'm going to go ahead and play my ally. This one here is going to cost 1 action point to get him into play. He's going to be able to be exhausted to gain me an armor, and I can conspire. So let's go ahead and spend the action point. We're going to go ahead and tap him to conspire for 1 damage. And again, the conspire says requiring another card of this faction in hand or in play, and I do have that. It only does 1 damage, but 1 is something. That 1 damage is going on the on-deck threat because I got a plan for this battlefield. It's going to get absolutely destroyed here as I go forward. So first off, let's go ahead with the banish here. So there's going to be another action point being spent. Not 2, just 1. We can discard 1 active threat, but we have to focus on the top one first. So that's the one that's going to go. Now, the fact that the card says to discard it means that I don't believe I get it into my hand. So I'm placing it in my discard pile, and hopefully I'm not hurting myself by doing that, but it does simply say discard 1 active threat. So I'd assume that means it goes in my discard pile and not inside my hand. Now, when I did that, I can conspire again to discard another active threat because I have another card in play that matches the same faction. So I can do this again. So I'm going to go ahead at this point in time and do it to this one here. Now, when I discard this one, this is a boss one. So when I do this, this is going to dole 1 damage to the boss, but it's also going to allow me to dole 4 damage out. So this is going to allow me to get that 1 damage on the boss, which I'll chuck up there. So now we got a total of 10. 4 damage being added to this one is perfect because I already have 2, and this is 3, and this is 3. So that's another complete kill right there. And then this is going to allow me to do 4 damage out, and 4 damage is enough to take out this one right here. Now, this guy I actually get to put in my hand, but unfortunately, it's also a boss card, so it goes to discard, but that's 1 damage going to the boss. So now we're up to a total of 11. We are 1 shy away. I just took this one out. When I defeat it, I gain an action point back. We also are able to move up the small level token, which I'll do right now, and we get to do 1 more damage, which I will place on top of the on-deck threat. This goes in my hand, though. My friends, we are just 1 more hit away from victory. I'm super pumped to keep pushing right now. We got 2 AP. Let's see what we can do to get through this threat and hopefully towards another. Let's go ahead and play Exceed Your Limit. So we'll go ahead with this one. 1 AP spent. We'll go ahead and bump up the small level token all the way to 6. That's the highest it can go. And then it says if you have 5 or less, we're going to deal 2 damage. So we'll happily deal 2 damage to this individual right here. And this one is going to need 3 + 1, 4. That is enough. So we've satisfied the 2 here to kill this one. We still have a 2 and a 1 to put on to the next one. So let's go ahead and remove this top card. We did not get a boss threat though, but we do get this card in hand. We got ourselves a strike, which is a very basic card. With a 2 and a 1, we're going to plant these right on top of the Junker Cyclist, which is a 4 to take out. And we could go ahead right now with a strike to kill that. Why not? Let's push for it. So we'll go ahead and take this one out. I just added another credit to my pool, and this card's going to go in my hand. And the next one up is the Back Alley Blade Master. Now, at this point, we don't have any more action points. We got 2 cards in hand. We'll probably be stopping right here. Can't push any harder, but I'm hoping that when we replenish the battlefield, somebody will come out we can take out. No threats to deal with, so we go straight into the cleanup phase. All the tactics being discarded. We lose unspent action points. We don't currently have any. We're setting our armor to 0. It's currently at 0. Refilling. Let's find out what we got off the top of the deck here. So first off, the Back Alley Blade Master's going in. Next up, we have the Enforcer going in, and that's got Rage involved. This is the Thief. We still don't see any boss threats. No, there's nobody here boss-wise. We're now moving to the final 3 position on the danger track. After this is going to be bumping up to 4. We can also spend a credit in order to get rid or eliminate a card. I did spend a credit to get rid of a strike card from my discard pile. Probably not going to mean much in the long run of things, but I did it anyway. Now we're going to move into drafting a card. At this point, we're drafting from level 6. Here's what I got to choose from for level 6. It looks like all of the same faction, Viren, every single card. We got an ally here, 2 tactics. These cost varying amounts, have varying abilities. I really need something that can dole out some damage or defeat threats because I don't have 2 cards in hand that dole a ton of damage. So this is going to be tricky. In the end, I chose to go with Uprising. I hope that this was a good choice overall. Now, before I start my turn, I want to highlight something for new players to Unstoppable that's easy to miss, and I might have even missed it a couple times myself in part number 1 or even in this video as I was going through and checking health values on the threats. It's very easy to miss this because at the beginning of the game, you're just calculating what's inside these major icons right here, but as you get further in, the upgrades that you're adding to cards will start to add to either the attack value, like this one right here is an attack value add, or a defensive value add, and either way, that's adding into the total threat health when you're calculating it. So it's very easy sometimes to look at at an Enforcer right here and quickly go 2, and then 3 because we're currently at that on the danger track. Done. It's 5. Move on. But then you miss the fact you've got the extra one right there, which means the health of this thing is actually 6. So keep that in mind. These smaller icons blend in. They're easy to miss. All right, I'm going to start things off by going ahead and picking up the Arc Capacitor. This is going to cost me 4 credits, but I think it's worth it in order to get some damage going on one of the cards that I plan to play, which is going to be the Uprising card that I just gained. So we're going to slot this one in. This should give it a nice boost. Final thing I'm going to do, in case things go sideways, is spend the final 2 credits to put the hollow-plated defense on the card I know I'm going to play this turn. In case I don't get what I need in terms of clearing things out, we'll go ahead and just play that in. So that's going to fill out this card completely now, but it's going to provide me with armor. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and play Uprising. It's going to cost 1 action point, so we'll remove that. And we've got lots of things happening here. So first off, I'll go ahead and resolve the armor. We'll bump ourselves up to 5. That's nice to have in case we need it. We have a 3 damage attack to use. We gain 1 credit right now. And then we gain, and we can, and then deal 2 damage for each action point we have remaining as separate 2 damage hits. So the first 2 I'm going to use is going to be on this one, the Back Alley Blade Master, which will provide me with a credit. So we'll place that in here. Flipping that over, that's going to provide us with the Guard Squadron, which is a nice card to have. The next 2 damage applying from this, based on the action points that I have, is going to go onto the Enforcer, working our way to kill that thing off. Then I'm going to go ahead and use the 3 damage on the Enforcer. That's going to put us 1 away from taking it out, as his health is at 6, and I've got a plan for it. I've got the silver individual over here, the ally. I'm going to tap this ally in order to give myself some armor. I'm going to boost myself up to 6. But Conspire works, and I get 1 damage because I have other cards from that faction, at least 1 in hand or in play, which puts 1 more damage on this card right here, taking it out, which is awesome. So we gain 2 credits right there. We're going to place in the bank. So now we got a total of 4. This card goes in hand. And it's a great one, certainly one I want to use during this turn. Now at this point, my strategy is not to focus on the Thief. The Thief is not a problem anymore because I have armor enough to block whatever he's going to throw at me, which would be a total of 4 right now. So not a big deal for me. I want to focus on the Enforcer here, which is terrifying. Has 2, 2, and 3, so that's 7 I need to take it down. We're going to play the Grand Emporium. That's going to cost 1 action point to play it. This one right here is going to give us 7 credits. Now, I don't believe, I'm just going to check this. This is if we use any bargaining. While this card is in play, each time you gain an action point. Okay, we can get another damage, but that's not going to happen right now. We are going to boost ourselves by 5 again, so our armor's off the charts. At this point, we have 10. We can really take a hit from pretty much anything right now. We're going to gain 7 coins. So I'm going to take those 7 coins, and we're going to get a discount here as we try to do 2 hits of 3 each, which I certainly want to do. The discount's based on what's in play that matches for the same. So we have 1, 2, so it's going to be 5 necessary. So we'll go ahead and literally we gain 7. So I took the wrong amount here. So we got 6, 7. This is what I gained from the actual card. It's only going to cost us a total of 5. So in the end, that leaves me with 6 credits remaining. We're going to go ahead and throw 6, or basically 2 hits of 3 against this individual, which is 6. Not enough to take it out, but pretty close. For likely my final card, we're going to go ahead and use Cultivate Power. It's going to cost 1 AP, so we'll go ahead and spend it. This is going to bump our small level token from where it's at currently at level 4. It's going to bump all the way up to 6 easily across all the different ways that we can use this, which is 1, 2, 3. So we got a bunch there. We get 2 damage, and then we have something where we can lose health in order to deal 3 damage. So at this point, we're going to do 2 damage to this thing right here. That's going to wipe this threat out, and we're going to gain this into our hands. We got 13 meters under. We gain 2 credits from that. We also have to go ahead right now and do the lose 1 health and deal 2 situation. So we'll go ahead and knock our health down by this, and we'll dole 2 damage out to this spider. Not 5, we need 2. And that's going to be, or sorry, it's 3 actually. That states on the card. So that's even better. And then we're currently not at level 4. Oh no, we actually are at level 4. So lose any amount of health and gain that much armor. I'm not going to choose to do any more losing of health at this point. I'm good because it's not going to help me out. I've already got too much armor. Now, as I come to the end of my turn in the main phase, I've replenished the upgrades here. Should have done that the second that I bought them during the play here, but I was so concerned about what I was doing strategy-wise, I didn't replenish them. I wasn't looking to buy anything at that point anyway, but here's what I have: a Las pistol, just so you can see it. This one will dole out small amounts of damage. And then the auto-seeking, which actually doles out quite a bit of damage. This actually might be something I want to pick up right now. Yeah, that auto-seeking on top of this card would be absolutely crazy. Let's swing for the fences and go for it. I'm going to buy that upgrade. I've placed it on this 13 meters under for whatever's coming off the deck as we replenish things. We now go to the threat phase, and yes, of course, we got a thief up here. This is going to do 3 + 1, so 4 damage coming at me, but I'm soaking it all up with my awesome armor. We now replenish the battlefield, and look what showed up just in time for this 13 meters undercard to just do some serious damage. At this point, we're going to advance the danger level, which is going to now go to a 4 position on the danger track. I won't show you that because there's nothing exciting on it besides it just incrementing to 4. So now these values have changed up to 4, which is a little more terrifying. Upkeep phase, we get our 3 action points. The ally is refreshed, and now we're going to go ahead into the draft phase, and we get to draft from the level 6 deck. Now, as we go into this draft, this may not mean as much because I've got so much damage in my hand already, but let's go ahead and pick something really thematic and cool. I'm going to go with the Motorbike Barrage. All right, my friends, this is it. Let's go ahead and chuck this gigantic card at the enemies and do the damage necessary to take it out. So this is going to be based on how much we want to split things up. Now let's take a look. If we want to target one that's going to provide us a boss threat card, it's the on deck threat. That's the only one that's going to actually give us a damage that we need to get to 12. So we're going to focus on this. Now this one is 2 plus the current value of 4, so it's a 6, which is not bad. Like, really, I could just pay 1 right now. That's all I have to do. I play 13 meters under. This is going to deal 13 damage to only 1 individual because I only paid 1 AP, and that's going to blast that boss threat away. And when it happens, it immediately throws a damage on the boss. And just like that, the second that you've dealt 12 total damage when playing true solo with just 1 character to the boss, that boss is gone. And it's worth clarifying that each boss has its own requirements as to what it needs to be taken down. They're all unique. This one, 12, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, is exactly what you need per player. So we have successfully taken down the Harbinger. And with that victory, that's going to do it for the showcase for Unstoppable from Renegade Game Studios. Had a lot of fun playing this one on camera with you all. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this one. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, keep on rolling solo.
Whoop.